friend Jim here with JBsBigAdventure, coming to you from Lake Chapala, Mexico. And yes, I am talking about why, in fact, American expats are actually being deported back to the States. So here is what I've had recently. And I don't know why it's all of a sudden, it might have been in this original video or post on Facebook, whatever it may have been. But I got a call here 2 nights ago. Somebody that's coming down to be with me for my tour, and said that she had just watched a video on YouTube that was talking about the fact that expats, American expats, are getting deported back to the States. I've had 2 other couples say that they saw something on Facebook and wanted to find out from me if I knew anything about that. So I said, absolutely not. I know nothing about that. But what I did want to find out is why, in fact, would an American be deported back to the States if, in fact, they're here illegally? So I'm going to give you some pointers on that. 1, if they're being accused of criminal activity. And just let your mind go. I mean, criminal activity can mean a lot of different things. Here's one of the big ones. Violations of immigration laws. Now, when in fact that it could be fraud and misrepresentation. So when somebody's actually applying for a temporal or permanente, or they're in the country, what documents and such did they actually present to the officials? So false documents, and one of them happens to be marriage fraud. People saying that they're married when in fact they're not. They're coming in and they're wanting to get a temporal or a permanente, and they're coming in as on the family unit. Well, if they're not legally, common law, now I'm going to tell you, you need to make sure that you get help from probably a Mexican consulate, letting you know what the requirements are in whichever Mexican consulate that you go to, what in fact is common law according to them. So marriage fraud, people saying that they're married and they're not, or they're not common law. That is one. Now, here's one of the biggest reasons why an American would be actually deported back to the States. Visa holders that overstay their visa. What is that? That's a tourist visa. So a person comes down here, they're going to be here for 180 days. Well, instead of going back to the States, they just stay here. So their residency never changes. They're here on a tourist visa, which actually is expired, and that is terms for deportation per Mexican immigration law. Now, there was some things here recently about when somebody actually had overstayed their tourist visa, but that was primarily during COVID. So that was a big thing, that they actually had the RNE program. But that is no longer available in the same context as what we're talking about here. So when you come down, for one, we are not Mexican citizens. A Mexican citizen is somebody who's born here. A Mexican citizen is somebody that gets dual citizenship because their parents or grandparents or great-grandparents, for example, were born here, and they're able to claim citizenship, and would be dual citizenship if in fact they're already citizens of the United States. So we have residents in Mexico, and our resident visa is either a temporal, which is good for 4 years, or a permanente, which means you're permanent. So you spend the majority of your time actually here, if not all your time here. So I wanted to make sure I shared that. And I really feel there's probably going to be a lot more of this going on, that people are getting spooked because of what's taking place in the States. I mean, think about this. If within the present administration, president-wise, that they're wanting to make sure that there are no crooks, and there's people that are, killing people and murdering and all kinds of things that happen, and gang members and all of this, if they're being deported for that, or if folks are being undocumented. Now, I'm not going to get into all the family stuff and everything, because that kind of pulls at my heartstrings, because I believe that, you want to keep the family together. So I'm not trying to get political. What I'm just saying is, if someone who is from another country is in the States and it's illegal, they're illegally there, they came across, they have no documentation, they're in the States. Well, once they're found out, they're going to be deported, right? And that's okay. Well, what would make it not okay if somebody's in Mexico illegally? They've got the right, the Mexican government has the right to deport them back to the States. I mean, that's as simple as that. So, the shoe fits both ways. So I don't want folks to be getting all riled up and excited about the fact that thinking that they're going to come down here to be a temporal or a permanente resident on the visa, and they're going to get deported back to the States. That's absolute. I told these three people, the first thing I said to them, because I've heard there's quite a few people here that actually have overstayed their tourist visa, the 180 days. Because you stay for 180 days, and what they do is they go back to the States, cross the border, and they either come back the same day or they come back a couple days later, whatever it may be. That's a tourist visa. So those are the things that's important to know about, that in the laws, somebody cannot overstay their tourist visa. That just it's not allowed by the Mexican government. So they didn't know, the people I talked to, why. In fact, I've asked all three individuals that I'd like to see the YouTube video that actually was on. And I'm interested to find out, because two of them said they saw it on Facebook also, because there was a link on Facebook apparently to this YouTube video. So anyway, I wanted to make sure I made that very clear for you, and hope that's been helpful. As always, thank you so much for being a part of this channel and supporting this community. Have an awesome day. We'll see you on the next video.